Hey guys, we are checking out the Passacaille by visee today. If you're wondering if you're on the right piece of music, the bottom of the first page should be page 56, and the bottom of the second page should be 57. We are in E minor. We have 1 sharp, it's F sharp, and we're in 3/2. All right, so an easy way to think about 3/2 is to go ahead and say, okay, my quarter notes, my written quarter notes are kind of like 8th notes, and my 8th notes are like 16th notes, which means that first measure, just think of it this way: 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, because they're all quarter notes. All right, so you have the E minor. It's telling you to arpeggiate it, right? So all right, so you're ending that phrase with this part of an E minor chord, and then you're going to a D7, pull off the E. All right, now here what you're going to do is it's kind of like a power chord, so kind of like this, but these 2 fingers are here because you have the B, and the D sharp. Now since you're here already, go ahead and open that 3rd finger so that you can play the A right underneath it. 2nd fret, 3rd string. All right, now it's asking you to play the, so G is over here on the 5th fret, and it's coming down to the F sharp, down to the E, open D, last B of the measure, and then you have a C chord. All right, no big deal. Now you're going to come back to this chord, but it's actually a suspension now, so it has a B, the F sharp, and the E up here. Now you're going to drop that E to a D sharp. All right, now same as before, with that bar you have this A underneath there because you're barring it, right? So right there where the square 1 is, and then you end with that E minor chord. All right, easy peasy. Let's go on to the second line. So we start here on this B, right? So you're gonna go B, slide down to the A, right? Now from the A, you're gonna slide down with your 2nd finger to this G and the open B. But what it's asking you to do is kind of like a grace note. All right, so easy peasy. No big deal. All right, now you have this B and this D sharp. All right, come down to the A, and it's saying to slide your 1st finger down to this G sharp so that you can have an E major chord, right? All right, drop the 4 on the D, come down with the 1 and the 2, open G. All right, no big deal. Now you have this F sharp chord. Notice how it says the bar of the 2nd. So F sharp, you have this A sharp right here, C sharp and F sharp on top. Drop your 4 for the E. All right, now it's saying drop your 3 and your 1. All right, nice little chord there. Come down to your B and your D sharp, open E, and then end again with the E minor chord. All right, no big deal. So big deal. All right, now going on to the 2nd page, you start the same way that you did. In fact, I'm looking at it, it looks pretty familiar to the 1st line. In fact, it is the 1st line. All right, no big deal. All right, in fact, I'm looking at the 1st line of the 2nd page. Let's see here. Let's look at this and make sure. Yes, the 1st line, the 3rd line, the 5th line, and the 7th line are all the same as the 1st line. So all your odd numbers, 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9, are actually just the same idea as the 1st line. So congrats. If you learned the 1st line, you've learned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 lines, and you only have 1, 2, 3, 4 lines to go. So I'm pretty sure you can do this, right? Yes, yes, yes. I'm positive of it. All right, so let's move on. Since we already know that line, we're looking at the second line on the second page, and it's saying to go up to the 7th fret. Now, notice how it has that Roman numeral for 7, all right? And it's telling you to half bar the 7. Now, let's check out the notes. You have this first finger on the B, second finger on the G, third finger on the E, right? So 2, 3, and then you're going to drop down to a D sharp. Let's make sure. No big deal. All right, now you're going to come back down to this. All right, so this is the first chord in the second measure. All right, now. Ooh, nice motion there. All right. Nice motion. All right, so let's check out the rhythm. First measure of the rhythm, you have 1, 2, 3 because that's, or 1, 2 because that's a half note, right? Now you have a half note there, and then you come down with that D right here. It's telling you to come down with 2. So here, and then the last beat of the measure is going to be, all right? Now, on the second measure, you have 1, oh, sorry. Right? So 1 beat, 2, and then you're going to come back down. Oh. So it's following pretty much the same kind of counting throughout that whole line. All right, so the first beat is going to be 2 for the half note, right? And then your next beat is going to be a tie, but it's got those half notes underneath. So what I want you to do is, if the stems are facing down, what I want you to do is I want you to think of that as an independent line. So look at your second measure of the second line, page 2. You have 3 half notes, right? So your first half note is going to be, all right, your second half note is going to be, and your third half note is going to be. All right, now if you look at the top line, you line up again, but then there's that A that comes down, all right? So think of it that as the 4th beat, and then you're coming down to the C, beat 5, and then you have this 8th note, which is actually a 16th, right? All right, so let's check out that measure real slow. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then that's on the up, right? Now, on the next measure, it does the same exact thing rhythmically. Let's check it out. All right. So all the rhythms are being the same. Stems down, check it out. They're going to be independent of the top line. And if you see notes in between, they're actually just the notes in between. So 2, 4, 6, all right? Because you're on the downbeats with your half notes. Kind of think of it that way. If you have some questions, let me know in class, and I'll draw it out for you. All right, so let's look at the 4th line. You have... Nice stuff. Okay, nice harmonies. Okay, so first measure, sorry, you have this E, right? So this E is going to be 1, and then you have a rest on top, so it's E right there. So 4, and then 5, 6, right? And I know that C sharp is kind of a irky kind of note. All right, then you come down to this. All right, so you have E flat, C natural, F sharp, 2. All right, so 1, 2, D, 3, or sorry, 4, 5, 6. All right, now you have 2, 3. Ooh, nice motion there. 1, 2, and then 2. So you have those half notes there, right there in the second to last measure. All right, so let's count it because I want you to check out that second measure. So let's start on the second measure. So 1, 2, you got the D on 3. The upper C is on 4. 5, 6 is the F sharp to the B. All right. Now on the third measure, where you have this, right? So 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2. No big deal. All right. Now, next line, let's talk about the second to last line. You come with the E. No big deal. Think of all quarter notes. They're all quarter notes. So count to 6, the entire measure. So and then you come back to me. And you're done. All right, no big deal. I know there's some squirreliness because, as we talked about in class, the last measure of every line is actually the first beat of the next measure of the next line. So that's why the first measure of lines 2, 4, 6, and 8 are just 2 beats instead of 3. All right, so remember that. Try it out. I think there's a lot of good information in this video, so let me know if you have any questions, and good luck.